Hey guys, ready for a quick live game. So my opponent's rated 1166. They have the white pieces and they've started with d4. Okay, so now we can go into a Benoni. And they're from Catalonia, yeah. Unusual flag, you don't see it a lot. Okay, so here, clearly white didn't want to capture away from the centre and his advance, and now we get into the Benko Gambit. The idea is if he takes, I for a second pawn. I do have some notes on this, but I'm not going to use those in a live game. The point is to remember your theory. Ooh! Ooh! Now my first thought is to push my e-pawn now. I don't want to take. I mean, a queen can't recapture, but it does expose my king. I don't know if takes. It just looks like a kind of free pawn, but then if I push, I can't capture because the queen is guarding the pawn. Alright, let's take it and see what happens. This is a rated game. I just pulled it out of open challenges. So this is a 3-13 for me. Right, I have a check here, but it's very easy to block. Do I want to capture the pawn? I'm a pawn up at this point. Or I could push a6 and no, because he's got the bishop behind it. So I'd lose a pawn anyway that way. Or do I push on? Push on and take these two squares away from his knight. It's going to make it harder now for his knight to make progress up the board. The defense of this pawn is a key thing. I think I'm going to have to play bishop e7. Castle. I always put my knight, my queen here, but that's standing behind a wall, really, isn't there? There's not much point in that. Yeah, pulled out the iPad this morning, played about 5 games, lost the first 4, and it seemed like I had a decent position in all of them, and blundered a bit. But what I've been doing is I've switched to not using the confirm each move or confirm every move feature, which you do have on the mobile app with chess.com. And the reason is, at some point in time, I'd like to play classical. I'd like to play over the board against a real human being, you know? And if you're going to do that, you'd be playing touch move. And you can't, put a piece there and think about it and see if it's a blunder and then move it back, right? So, plus, it is a little bit of a cheat in the sense that it gives you a slight advantage when you're playing if you can preview a move before you commit. Because what we should be doing, if we want to improve, is to practice the art of visualizing the board once certain things have happened. And that's one of the differences between weaker and very strong players. They can actually see what the board will be like. Right, but some of us will go, okay, if I push that pawn and he takes and I recapture, and you kind of lose the picture of what's going on the board. Okay, so what's going on this board? I am a pawn up. Might want to sacrifice this guy at some point. Maybe now is the time. I want to trade him off with this, so it's not really a sacrifice. Oh, and then I've got a lovely outpost for my knight. Look at that. Look at that. Actually, one of those 2 games I need to analyse. I had a Vienna Gambit go wrong. In fact, I got a draw from that. Okay. Now, push, he's got 1, 2, 3 attackers. And I've only got 1, 2 defenders. So it doesn't really make sense. If I let him take, I can recapture with the knight. Happy days, that's fine. Might just be time to improve this bishop. See, I'm now castled, right? We're on move 10 now. I castled on move 8, which is the quickest you can castle, right? And you have to move 2 pawns, 4 minor pieces, a queen. Okay, on your first 9 moves. Okay, so there goes a pawn. There's another pawn. Anyway. Alright, so he's coming in. Is it a threat? Not worried about that. I'm not worried about that. If he takes my knight, bishop recaptures. Also means that now this square has one defender less, right? So now it's attacked. It's controlled on his side twice and on my side twice. Okay, this is the square in question. But if I push now and he takes out my knight and I recapture, then he can simply grab the pawn. So I'm going to take out his knight, bring his bishop out into the board. I'm tempted to play that now. You know, this is what you do in the middle game. You are lining up possibilities, possible attacks. Right, I don't want to take on here. If he takes, I'm fine with that. I don't want to take there and get his bishop lined up with my king, right? Right now, this bishop is fairly harmless, right? I could push and kick the bishop away. Seems to make sense. You get it with tempo, which means that basically it's like a free move. You know, I just get to improve my position. Oh, look at this. That's nice. Didn't see that. Okay, so I take this and I'm attacking the bishop, but I'm also got the discovered attack against g7, so let's go. Without any further ado. And now he's going to be regretting not having castled. Okay, so he's got two attackers on this pawn, that's fine, I'm going to go ahead and do this. The rook has to move, and the only safe square is that. And I may even drop my bishop back here, I don't know. Don't know. Where's the evilest place for that bishop to reside? Here, it's controlling this diagonal. How important is that diagonal? Which light squares do I want to control? This is the only kind of mini danger going on, really. I'm 2 pawns up now. My opponent now cannot castle kingside. If he castles at all, it's going to be queenside, but he's got no c-pawn and no d-pawn. Or do I want to come here? And it's a good bishop. I like this bishop. I've got a dark squared pawn structure. I want to keep my bishop on the board. I'm not afraid of his knight. So, okay, I'm just going to drop it back here. It's kind of flexible. Might come here. Right, what's the point of that move? Not sure. Opening up his queen slightly. Okay, now it's time to think about attacks. I'm going to centralise my rook before I do anything else. Just under 5 minutes on the clock. I have this. Now that doesn't scare me at all. What's undefended? That's undefended. The bishop's actually undefended. Oh. There. Okay. So the undefended stuff is over here. If I could get my knight to that square, I'm laughing, innit? But for a knight to go there is a little bit complicated. Because I'd have to go there. But it's worth a try. If he wants to trade stuff off, I'm not going to stand in his way. So this is the idea. Knight to here, we may trade knights, we may trade queens. But knight to here, checkity-doo-dah, and good night bishop. Is he going to spot the threat? That's the thing. Now, ooh, hang on. I'm also attacking his bishop twice. So I think we might be forcing an exchange here. Missed that. Completely missed that. All right. Bishop. If rook takes, bishop takes. It's got to be done, eh? It's a free piece. All right. Have to just keep an eye on this square here. Don't want to get checkmated. I think this would be a mistake. Yes, he would win 2 minor pieces for a rook, but when you're 5 points down, you want to keep your stuff on the board. All right, now I have this with check. Okay, situation is, he's attacking my knight twice, and it's undefended. So, vad har vi valt att do? This, he can't take my knight with his king. I'm attacking the queen, he can't take the bishop. And then I've actually got ideas of maybe a discovered attack, discovered check. I think that's better than this move. I mean, actually, that would have won the rook as well. Looks like he's disconnected at this point. Looks like he's not happy. Well, if he disconnects, then we'll just do a quick recap and analysis and see what the scores on the doors are. Let's see if I need to update my Benko Gambit knowledge. Yeah, looks like he's ditched. But we have to wait for the game to end. Oh, no, he's just come back. A little bit of signal. Beep. He flatlined for a minute there. But he's in a tricky situation. Okay. Ha! He's going for a sneaky checkmate, isn't he? Right, now, what's the most damage I can do? I have in my pocket a discovered check idea. But I also have this. There, he can't go there, there, or there. Huh. Go on, let's... Oh, no. Knight takes. See? But I did it with moving the piece as well. I've got to learn to do it just from sight alone, using the power of my mind. Okay, so this is one idea. This is also another idea. Discovered check, king moves, bring the knight back here to safety. I'm quite happy with that. Remember, the first 2 rules. Is my king safe? And right now he is. White's also got ideas of a checkmate on here with the support of the rook. So actually, it's not as unpleasant a situation. It's sharper than I would like, put it that way. Now I do have this idea. Make a little light squared pyramid which actually stops both threats, I think. Can't really attack the queen convincingly at this point. Don't know if... So that is actually mate. That's the problem. So I think I might be forced to push this. Okay. Okay, checks. Nothing. I'm going to push this now. I'm 2 minutes 22, so I need to be fairly careful. I'm attacking the queen now. The queen's going to have to do something. She goes there, she gets taken. Goes there, she gets taken. Okay, the bishop's guarding all of that. Can't go there. Oh, she can actually. She can go there because this pawn is actually pinned. But then I have a check here and might force white to trade off that slightly dangerous bishop. I can't actually capture the queen either. I have to move my king onto a dark square, which is no bad thing anyway, actually, considering there's a great white bishop in the waters. He's down to 3 minutes now. Okay. Right, again I have this check, but then I can't take, so what I'm going to try and put some pressure on and trade the queens off. If this queen comes off the board, I think my king is safe. Safe as houses. And trade, and then I also have a discovered attack maybe against this rook here. Okay, happy days. Happy days. I can now have a check with a discovered attack on the rook. If bishop takes, I can always recapture with my rook. Okay. Alright, let's just drop back. Fall back. Back to the keep. Okay, I'm +3 at this point. There's a hanging pawn on a2. Okay, now it's time for this move. I have check and a discovery now that he's tried to defend that pawn. If he takes, I'll just recapture, I think. Simplify. Or if he takes, I get... Oh, he's moved. Now rook takes. I have another check here. 2 minutes. He's on 208, I'm on 151. We might still need to force a win, so it's going to be a case of doubling up the rooks. Maybe knight here, go after this pawn. I have to move swiftly. But now the queens are off the board, I'm a lot more relaxed. So what's the situation? I'm up an exchange and 3 pawns, so +5, okay. Happy days. This is good. This is good. I can kick the knight away from the defense of this pawn. With the pawn push. He might come here, but then I've got rook d8, pins the knight, wins the knight. The pawn's still hanging now, he's moved his hanging again. Okay, let's relieve him of that pawn. I'm going to come back to this idea, hang on. So he's got 3 defenders right now. Yeah. I think this is now a case. He's on a minute 15. I'm on a minute 38. All I need to do is just not do stupid things. Now d5 hits the knight, and if pawn takes, I win the rook. Same story. Well, pawn takes, we trade rooks. So I'm going to win this on time, I think. Could I just have captured? I could just have captured with check, actually. Pawn takes, I can still just move there with check, actually, as well. Two defenders, so bishop takes, rook takes, rook takes, rook takes. What's not to like? 30 seconds. Ho, ho, ho. Let's throw in another check just for good measure. I've always got rook takes rook. So all of this is just, I'm using the clock against him now. Let's do rook takes rook. Knight takes rook. Another check. And I should be really trying to win. But I don't have to. It's a timed game, that's what happens, that's what you get. Okay, he's got to defend the knight. The knight's under attack. Bishop's useless. Bishop's got nothing, mate. Nothing. You got nothing, bruv. Okay, could have taken that with a rook. Now I'm just going to slide my king over. He's got 5 seconds left, so it's going to finish. Okay, I get 3 points. 3 badly needed points brings me up to 1450. I've had quite a slide. There. And there we go, on time. Right, quick look at the review. And how did we do? It was an unusual pawn push that we had early on that I want to figure out. Ooh, looks like I let him right in at this point. What was that? Oh, a missed win. Yeah. So I think the computer here is saying that rook takes, bishop takes, and I'm slightly down in material, but how can I have white slightly better? So what should I have done? Me. Okay, so didn't like that. Okay, so let's go back to the start. opponent played pretty well, 72 accuracy, I got 76. Okay, Benko Gambit, book move, mistake. Gives away free material, how? Because I should have taken the other pawn first, eh? But that pawn's defended. So I did that, which is inaccurate. Okay, it wasn't defended at this point because the e-pawn was still there. Alright. Okay, so that's what to do. Right, so I'll just go ahead and update my notes on that, and I'll know what to do in future. And there we go. Okay, so hope that's been fun for you. Decent game. I think my opponent did pretty well on there. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.